Welcome back to Blitz. I'm Brian Carter here at White County High School with Lady Warriors soccer coach Nathan Adams. Coach, it's finally a great day we have out here and a good day for soccer, and we're glad to have you on the show with us today.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity very much. Thank you.
No problem. Your season's already about a quarter or so of the way through. You started out really hot with a 2-0 start on the season, then you turned out to lose 4 of your next 5. Talk a little about how the season's going compared to your liking at this point.
Well, we started off very hot and on a roll. Had really a couple games that we let get away from us, really close games, each won by a goal. Went and played a North Forsyth team that, considering they're a 5A school, I thought my girls played about what I expected them to. So all in all, pleased with a couple games that we wish we could take back. So.
Now, over the past summer of 2009, 3 of your soccer players got a chance to go play in Sweden. I believe there were about 19,000 players at that tournament or whatever it was. And then you had, how many teams was it? About 1,400 teams as well?
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Who were those players that got a chance to do that?
Caitlin Hooper, Bree Ballinger, and Sam Ballinger got to go. And I knew it was going to be a neat experience for them, but even I didn't understand how big of a tournament it was and all the experience they were going to play, not just against teams in the U.S., but teams from all over Europe and other parts of the world. So it was an awesome experience for them.
What do you think they gained by getting to go there and that experience? What do you think they bring back to the school as a team?
Anytime you can, play against higher competition, it helps you out. So number one, that's the biggest deal. But they got to see a lot of styles of play that aren't typical in the Southeast. So that was another neat thing that they brought back is different styles of play from different countries around the world that kind of gave them a bigger knowledge of how the game's played. So.
Now, because you have relatively a young team, a lot of juniors, but you've only got 3 seniors on the roster. You start out, you did have 4 out of your last 5 losses, but they've been real close. You've had a lot of close games and haven't really gotten to the thick part of the schedule with the region games yet. Talk a little about if this is the kind of team you see that could compete for maybe a state playoff berth, or if that's maybe a couple years in the distance.
Our 7 AAA region, no matter what sport you're talking about, is unbelievably tough. What I don't think a lot of people understand with soccer is that it is, completely a skill sport. Every single position is a skill sport. And 3 of the teams in our region are going to be moving up to 4 or 5A next year. Those are going to be very difficult teams for us to beat this year. And with only 4 teams making the playoffs, it's going to be tough. I think we've got a team that could upset a few teams. But at the same time, it's going to be very difficult with those teams in the way. We honestly have 4 teams in our region that can make it to the state finals, and I'm not joking. There's 4 teams right now that any of them could make it to the finals. So, heck of a region, but I do think we got a team that could, if we get on a roll, we could. Who knows? We might could pull off a couple upsets.
Now, especially with you have one Lady Warrior on your team, your junior star, Caitlin Hooper, phenomenal player. She had 10 goals within a 1-week span, counting a scrimmage game. Very impressive the way she played. She was actually our last show's player of the week. Talk about how just how special she is for this program as she took down the career goals mark here at White County, and how special she is to the program and what she brings to the table for the Lady Warriors.
Well, you've got to have that player that you can go to score goals, and we've had a couple girls in the past that were good goal scorers, but nobody quite to the level of Caitlin. She's a striker beyond anything we've ever had here before. And, she makes teams have to change their whole defense because of her. And, in the Gainesville game, the whole second half, they redid their whole defense just to try to stop her. So anytime you got a player like that, they can make the other team have to focus on them. It opens up other opportunities for other players. And, even though Caitlin scored a lot of goals this year, we've got a lot of other girls that have scored goals as well. I think that's part of it. You focus on her too much, we've got other girls that can hurt you. So.
Yeah, and you got to be happy to have her through the remainder of this year, but also how excited are you to have her back next year as well?
Well, it's fun to watch her grow. She was one of the girls, as you said, that went on the trip this summer, and I could tell when she got back that she was an even better player. You expect players to get better year to year, but she had improved even more. Her shot selection in particular is so advanced from what it was last year. In the past, she scored goals just because she was a great athlete. And, now she's scoring goals because she's a great athlete, but she's also making very wise decisions on her shots. So.
Now, your first 2 losses of the season came at the hands of region opponents. You had a 2-1 tough luck overtime loss to Gainesville. Really tough game there. And then you also lost 1-0 to Lumpkin County in the Crown Mountain Cup game. Talk a little about those 2 losses. Obviously, 1 goal was the difference in those games. But if you had to play those teams again, which I know you have later in the season, how are you going to change your approach?
Really, with Gainesville, I don't know that we would change a whole lot. Maybe a little bit on the offensive side. We had one little breakdown on defense that really cost us that game. And overall, our defense has been playing great. I've been really proud of them. That was an early region game, and I think that just kind of caught us and bit us. Maybe one thing in the Gainesville game, too, is that we probably played more games than just about any team in the state right now. The girls, when we made it to overtime, you could tell we kind of ran out of gas a little bit because we'd played so many games. So that was maybe something I would change. As far as the Lumpkin County game, we had 3 opportunities in the first half where players just didn't follow shots up. And we talked about that at halftime. The girls responded, took shot after shot after shot. We just never got those opportunities again. So it was a learning lesson that when you have those opportunities, you can't waste them because, soccer's typically not a game where you're going to win by 5 or 6 goals. It oftentimes comes down to those little things. So.
Well, Coach Adams, thank you so much for being on the show. It was a pleasure having you on Blitz today, and I hope you have success throughout the rest of the season.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
When we return, you'll hear from the star herself, Caitlin Hooper, the junior striker for White County, straight ahead on Blitz.